Hi, welcome to Long Lost Friends. I'm Elizabeth Eve King.
And I'm Andrea Goyan. So
And
today we're
today we're so excited we don't even know who's going to introduce Jack Fry. That's how excited we are. He has done two very successful one-man shows. They Call Me Mr. Fry, about teaching in South Central, and Einstein, which we're so excited to talk to him about because he's going to tell us all these unknown Einstein secrets. Welcome, Jack.
Hey there. Oh there. Hi there.
tell us about Einstein.
Einstein.
Well, there are, unknown secrets, yes, but there's some things about him that didn't come out until 2007. A lot of people don't realize that when Einstein passed away, he willed all his letters, his notebooks, he came from the writing generation, journals, scientific or not, to Hebrew University. So he came from the writing generation. So he had boxes and boxes. And literally, like when he passed away, the Israeli Guard, came into the Advanced Institution of Study in Princeton and loaded box after box after box and flew it out to Israel. So they literally had a monopoly on his life, and they would dole out a little information on his life every 10, 15 years, and a new bio on him would be written, and it'd be a bestseller. And so, example would be that nobody knew Einstein was married to Mileva, his first wife, until the 1980s, like 30 years after he died. And they didn't realize that he had, 3 kids. There's no TMZ back then. So when I was writing this, some new information came out and was going through a lot of documents. And he had a life married in Berlin, where he's married to Mileva and had his 3 kids, and he was struggling to prove relativity and struggling. So it's the iconic story that I basically tell in this. So I think Hebrew University had one more dump after that. It was around 2012, I believe, and I think now everything about Einstein is out there now. Then. So, I thought that was very interesting. And B, now many people know this, but it is interesting. I can maybe add a little bit to it. When Einstein passed away, the coroner at that time, Thompson, had taken his brain out without permission of the family. And he had his brain basically in the trunk of his car for 15 years, 20 years. He wanted to figure out if there's anything different about his brain. So he cut little slices of his brain and sent it to neurologists all around the world. And when he first did this, a lot of people couldn't tell any difference. His brain just looked like everybody else's brain. But until about 15 years ago, the technology in neurology had so increased that they could actually see there was a difference between his brain and most people's brains. When he died at 77, his brain had the elasticity of a 26-year-old. What's where your brain is supposed to be at the prime before it starts to calcify. So he still had the flexibility, the sponginess of a young brain, and also the part where the music and math part of his brain was about 15% larger than in the average person. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. And a lot of people don't know that he had a daughter, Liselle, early on in his relationship with, and she passed away, unfortunately. There are some schools of thought say that she died of scarlet fever, and there's some say that she was put up for adoption. And but those that say she was put up for adoption say, oh yeah, you go on the internet, the daughter of, comes up with that's fake news. That's fake news. So anyway, that's another interesting fact. When he passed away, he didn't want a gravesite, and he wanted his body pretty much cremated, immediately, within 12 hours or so after his passing, for scientific reasons, for some reason. But he didn't have he was afraid that he'd get a Jim Morrison kind of gravesite. I'm being sort of anachronistic, but in other words, people just coming to the gravesite as like tourists and spray painting, throwing things or whatever. So he was cremated, and his ashes were spread in the Delaware River.
Except for his brain.
I was
For his brain.
So did he want his brain cremated?
The brain thing was just done by the coroner with no permission from the family. At first, the family was upset about it, and like, what do you do this for? And then he convinced them that this is for science, this is for the advance of humanity. So anyway, there you go.
It is really interesting that his brain was different and that it was that elastic at that age. I mean, that makes you wonder, what did it look like when he was 26?
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah,
Exactly. And I'd be interested too, was the art and was he born with it bigger? Did he develop it bigger? Because one of the things is always like, well, is his brain actually different, or is he just using more of it?
That's a very interesting and perceptive point. I don't know. That's why, like Andrea said, it'd be nice to say, "Ooh, can we
go back,
clone him and double clone him and have a double
clone him and kill him at 26 and kill him every year?"
Yeah.
Although now maybe an MRI would serve the same sort of function of seeing the size.
They have to take out the brain and slice it in little pieces. I don't think they can just do an MRI.
You would.
Oh gosh, yes, not Einstein's new nightmare.
There's a E.E. King short story right there. There's I can see it right now. You could go to town on that one.
I'll have to give you some credit. Einstein's death in the multiverse or something.
Yeah.
So did you also find out things about like what made your head explode when you were doing, because the multiverse, the special relativity, I mean, all of these ideas are so huge and difficult to comprehend. I mean, how was that? Do you feel a lot smarter?
I always like to remind my audiences that I'm an actor playing Einstein, and I'm not Einstein. So, but those are, I mean, it's not as if I had to go to an advanced class in physics to do the show, but I did really appreciate this. As I studied and researched my subject, you fall in love with your subject as you learn more about him. So, and the show that I do is, sure, there's some really cool 3D graphics that I do that were done by, really top people in the industry, and sort of explaining what he's seen, and there's some scientific, but I also more so take the human side of him, and where people can really relate to him. And that's what I find the most fascinating thing, especially when he was up against so much trying to prove his theory. There were people trying to commandeer his theory. Most of the scientific establishment did not believe him, thought he was full of it. He had a messy divorce he was going through. He had a daughter that he felt guilty about. He was trying to hold on to a relationship with his 10-year-old son. He was you need an eclipse to prove his theory, to have the bending, measure the bending of light, and then all these eclipses go wrong with bad weather and faulty equipment and the pressure of him. Then once it was proven, then there was a huge scientific backlash, and he's fighting depression, and all the he's kind of falling apart. Is he falling apart, or is he going to come up with something brilliant? And meanwhile, he comes up with a theory that changed the way all of us live, that ultimately ushered in the modern technological age we're all enjoying right now. Couldn't do this interview right now without using his theories. So there's just so much to it, and it's a new story. Really, it's a new story that just came out. So I make sure I didn't do the old lovable Uncle Einstein. I did Einstein at his prime, but from 35 to 42.
So
And-
what, if you don't mind my asking, what's the story arc sort of on your?
Well, it's him starting at a point where he feels he has relativity, but finds out that the theory that he has is not correct. He's trying, at the same time, he's battling all this. And then I don't want to tell you the end of it, because then that'll be a spoiler. You have to
So
come
tell
into-
us instead, and maybe we can link below, where can people see this? Do you have a run coming up? Do you have shows that-
I almost forgot. Thank you for
we can
reminding
put, yeah, we can put
Yeah.
that, we can put it after, so it's okay, but
Sure. Yeah, I'm doing the show at the Santa Monica Playhouse. Next show, March 28th, Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's an intimate space, just less than 100 seats, and it sells out. I've been doing it there since 2015, and it sells out almost every performance. So,
and do you have any more, that we can link to? Do you have a schedule for the year or anything that we can link to, and then we can update it in the
Yes,
future?
I can send that to you too. I can
That
send
would be great, because I think people would love to be able to see it.
Sure.
So-
Sure.
Mm.
Thank you for reminding. I almost forgot. I was having
Yeah.
so much fun hanging out with you guys that I just, but no, thank you.
And also for your other show, also for Mr. Fry, do you also have dates for that we can link?
Yeah, I can link you too.
Excellent, excellent. That would be great. So people, check below if you're interested in seeing if there's anything near you that you can go, especially if you're interested in writing one of these shows, you can go get some firsthand experience by watching Jack's shows, which are so successful. So,
Thank you.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's impressive. So congratulations. Last time I
Yeah.
talked to you, you were just
Thanks.
conceiving of Einstein.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. I'm excited because Santa Monica's near enough me. I might be able to get out there.
Yeah, I'm
Where are
gonna
you
be-
based?
I'm in Los Angeles, so
Oh, you are? Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
So
didn't know that.
drive out there. Yeah.
It's technology. Why am I thinking everybody lives like in Utah? Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Nobody lives in Utah. If they can help it. I shouldn't.
We can cut that part out.
Yeah.
Utah's your biggest audience.
Right. Cut it out. Cut it out. So thank you so much. This has just been so wonderful and enlightening and
You,
really
it's been fun. I really
That's
had a
only
lot.
Einstein can be.
You guys are gas. That was fun.
thank you. And we want to thank also our wonderful, wonderful producer, Maria Korloff. We couldn't do it without you.
Could
And
not,
we
but-
always
Yay.
and with
But-
the
Yes.
best thing we learned this week. So my best thing, I didn't blow them quite all. So this is, I think, great. The FDA is no longer doesn't require that drugs be tested on animals anymore. So they're still doing some animal testing. It's not banned altogether, but it's really, really reduced. And it's usually, they're saying, ineffective and expensive. And so a lot of pharmaceutical companies, as well as others, are not going to be torturing animals anymore. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Yay.
Very nice. And on the animal bend, I read this thing that they have found this rare cat on Mount Everest called a Pallas cat, Palla''S. And I don't know if anyone's going to see the video. Oh no, I'm trying to show a picture of him because he's so bizarre looking. Can
Oh,
you
he
see it?
is really cute. Yes.
And they kind of almost look like a little raccoon cat. They're sort of pudgy, but I mean, they live in snow, so they have to be. But they're really cute, and they didn't know they had them there, and they do. So look them up, Pallas cats. They're really cute.
And I have seen one in, I think it was the San Diego Zoo. They have a Pallas cat.
Cool.
And it's
Yeah.
cute. It's mostly sleep.
Jack. Anything
Well,
good?
I'll have to phone this one in because I didn't realize I had to do it twice. So, yeah, I'll phone that one in when I figure it
All
out.
right. No problem. Elizabeth gave us like 10 on the last one.
Yeah.
So you could just repeat one of hers.
They were all pretty good.
They were.
Yeah.
So thank you again so much for joining us. It's really fun. And I want to mention MetaStellar Magazine, which is our company, our home company, I guess, who helps produce us. And it is a speculative fiction magazine online. And you can go and read many original fiction pieces. I'm stumbling here. And
She's
So you say
better at
something
writing.
enough?
I thought of
Now,
one.
we do
Oh.
horror, science fiction, and fantasy, and you can go to the link below and check us out, or even help support us on our Patreon page. And Jack thought of something good. So go ahead, take it away, Jack.
I found out that the moon is full of aliens.
Oh.
It's hollow, and it has aliens inside in the dark. I read Swan's Penetration, which is he was part of the Stanford Institute program, which was the psychic spy of the 70s, and he talks all about it. So well, there you go. Now, if that's not controversial, I don't know what is.
But is it really good
that's something
news?
to tease the show with.
But is that really
Well,
good news?
depends on the
They haven't
alien.
invaded, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah, they might be really great aliens if we can just get to the center of the moon.
That's where they live.
Thank you, Jack, for that.
That is indeed the most interesting news, maybe. Anyway.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.